In the offshore industry, we work in an extraordinarily demanding, potentially highly dangerous environment. Disasters on the scale of Piper Alpha are mercifully rare, and that's testament to the professionalism of all of us, as we each have a part to play. But in all honesty, we've been lucky too. Major events may be rare, but significant incidents and high potential near misses are common. Too common. If we learn from previous events, we can reduce the likelihood of having a repeat occurrence or a similar event. Dropped objects account for the majority of actual and potential fatalities in upstream oil and gas. They are also in the top 3 causes of death and serious injury in many other industrial sectors. Dropped objects are also a serious threat in leisure and home life too. They can occur anywhere and at any time. There are 2 categories of dropped objects. The first is a static dropped object. This is any object that falls from its previous position under its own weight, that is gravity driven without another applied force. This could, for example, include failures caused by corrosion or improper fixings. The second category is a dynamic dropped object. This is any object that falls from its previous position due to an applied force. For example, a collision involving travelling equipment, snagging on machinery, helicopter downdraft, or severe weather. The dropped objects calculator is used to plot the mass of a dropped object against the distance it falls, to determine the potential severity of the consequences. Let's look at an incident involving a static dropped object that occurred at an onshore facility. A contractor's work party was painting pipework in an area adjacent to a redundant bulk storage tank. The risk assessment was compiled and the permit was authorised. These control of work mechanisms failed to identify potential dropped objects, and the toolbox talk on site did not highlight the proximity of the bulk storage tank. The party was working approximately 2 metres from the bulk storage tank when a flange blanking plate dropped off the side of the tank, striking a member of the work party in the head, knocking her to the ground. Fortunately, she was not seriously injured. The worksite was made safe and the job was suspended. Several barriers could have prevented this incident happening. Let's look at just some of the barriers that failed. 1. There was a lack of competence in both procurement and the maintenance team when the blank flange was installed on the bulk storage tank. A stainless steel plate had been fitted with carbon steel bolts, causing galvanic corrosion over several years. 2. There was confusion over maintenance responsibilities. There was no clear interface agreement between the site operator and the maintenance contractor on who was responsible for the maintenance of the redundant bulk storage tank. 3. The inspection regime, including dropped object surveys, had degraded over time and become ineffective. If the blank had been identified during a survey, it could have been replaced, or reliable securing methods could have been put in place. 4. A pre-work site inspection with the site operator and painting contractor should have been undertaken. This may have identified potential dropped objects on the bulk storage tank. 5. A dynamic risk assessment, including 20-second scan by the work party, was the final barrier, which may have increased the chances of identifying a potential dropped object. If these barriers had been in place and correctly followed, this incident may have been prevented. Nearly all incidents are caused by failures in one or more of the following areas: complacency, control of work, culture, competency, change management, communication, and commitment. This is just one significant incident. but maybe we can learn by other people's mistakes. Let's ask ourselves, is your equipment at height reliably secured? For example, primary, secondary, and safety securing. Is all your redundant equipment removed? If not, what regime do you have in place to prevent dropped objects? Are potential dropped objects assessed before and after carrying out a task? How are you playing your part to identify and prevent static dropped objects? Play your part.